So basically, if I had super huge melons, I had to rip back so many times. It's gonna be so smooth, so round, so beautiful. This is gonna go inside this. Oh my god, it smells so good. Then I want to buy all the fibers, but I won't because I have self-control. A brioche skirt, can you believe that? That's such a good idea. Hi, my name is Maya and welcome to episode 52 of my knitting podcast, where I share all my thoughts, process and other random stuff about all things fiber related, but mostly knitting. Today I have no finished objects, but I have one pattern release and I have two works in progress and my first handspun. I'm gonna show you my first hand spinning project. I mean, not the project, but the yarn I spun. And I don't have acquisitions. And I think that's it. So let's get into it right away. The first thing I want to talk to you about is the release that's happening today for you, tomorrow for me, but today, which is the Melon Sweater. And it's of course the thing I'm wearing right now. This is the tee version, and as you guess, there is a sweater version. Which is the original actually. So the first one I did is the long sleeves. Ooh, it's so pretty. And then I decided to go with the short sleeves as well because it works really well, so why not? So they are made using earthy sock base by Explorer Knits and Fibers. I bought the yarn for this one, but the yarn for this sample was gifted to me. And this is Butterfly Pea Flower and In Bloom from the Farmer's Market collection. So you can see the colors here. It's like a very purpley blue and then a variegated rainbow pastel kind of thing. It's gorgeous. I really love this. It took me so long to finally find this color combination because I had the idea for the pattern since a long time, a really long time, but I couldn't find the perfect colors, and those were the perfect colors. And I was just so happy to finally cast on after so long of trying to find the perfect yarns. And then we tried to find the second color combo with Ali of Explorer Knits, and we wanted to try to have something very different from this one. The original idea was to have kits available, but it didn't happen in the end. That's how it is. And so we wanted to have the first kit to be like a cool, vibrant, high contrast and bright colors, so this one. And the second color combination to be muted, earthy, calm, neutral, kind of, which is this one. I would never ever have chosen this kind of color palette for myself, but I will be honest, I prefer this one. If you know me, you know I'm a cool tone girly. I love my blues and my greens, and I'm never wearing brown or like earthy tones like that, but I have to admit it fits me better. So thank you Ali for choosing those in my place. This is Macross as the main color, so the one on top, and Earth as the contrast color. So the main color is lighter than the contrast color, and this is how it looks like. And it's gorgeous. I'm just so happy. I think it works so well. It's just beautiful. So yeah, I'm gonna show pictures from the testers while I talk and while I take you through the details of the pattern so that you can see different types of color combinations and even fiber combinations and all of that. If you need any inspiration for a color combo. I had kind of everything in the testing team, which I'm super happy about. There were fade, variegated, speckles and fluffy yarns. I mean, I had everything. So I'm gonna show those here, as well as my own pattern pictures that I took with my photographer friend Alexia, and the pictures are just awesome. I'm so proud of them. I can't believe, I mean, I'm just so bad at posing in front of a camera, but she makes it look so effortless and beautiful, and I can't believe the magic she's doing. And yeah, of course my beautiful friend Anna was there with me. She's a natural in front of the camera, so it's always good to have her with me. It helps a ton to pose, but yeah, just so you know, I don't like being taken in pictures, but yeah, it's always better when you work with professionals. I mean, Anna is not a professional model, but she could be. Anyway, let me take you through the details of the pattern. So it's an over long slip stitch texture on the body, so everything is a long slip stitch, which basically means you slip a stitch over 3 rows and then you knit all the stitches over the 4th. So it's a 4-row repeat, but they are offset, so it's an 8-row repeat. I'm gonna show you a close-up. So the color on the top is the main color where you slip the stitches, and the one on the bottom is the contrast color, and it's covered by the slip stitches. It's gorgeous and it's super easy to do. And everything is framed by those I-cord details on the shoulder that separate to form the seam on the sleeves, and then they join together at the underarms, and then there is this detail running down the body, and it's also running down the sleeves. It's also here, but you cannot really see because it's too short. And yeah, the sleeve shaping is done around those I-cords here. And I put them on the body as well, even though it wasn't necessary, because if you want to add body shaping, it's here. And it's way easier to do the shaping if you have the I-cord than if you have nothing. So I put that here to make optional body shaping easier. And it also has folded over hems everywhere, so around the neckline and the sleeves and the body. And there is this exposed bind of chain detail that I love so much, and I ran out of yarn, so the inside of my seam is a different color, but whatever. And yeah, this is very neat and clean, and I just love the way it looks. I kind of messed up here, I should have covered this guy, but oopsie. I did a better job on this one. But yeah, so those are the main details of the pattern. Now, for the construction, it's top down, it's a contiguous construction, so you cast on the neck and then you increase. It's a little bit like a raglan where you increase on 4 lines, so this line and the same on the back, on both sides. But in a raglan you increase on both sides of each seam, but for contiguous shoulder construction you increase only on one side. So for the body you increase only on the body side until you reach the tip of the shoulder, and then you stop increasing for the body and you increase only for the sleeves, so that the sleeves grow here, and when you reach the underarm you increase on both body and sleeves, and then you separate for the sleeves and you work the body in around. So pretty standard, but you just need to keep track of the increases, which is a little bit more involved than with a standard raglan, and is a little bit more involved because this stitch pattern is not as straightforward as you would want when you're doing increases, but everything is written out, everything is explained, you just have to follow the instructions. You don't even need to think, because every time there is something difficult, it's explained what's happening and what you need to do. It took a lot of time to finesse the details with the testers, but I hope we managed to find a solution that's clear for everybody. So you should be good to go. Even if you think this looks a bit too complicated, it's probably not. It's not a beginner pattern though, really. If you're a beginner, don't start with this one. First, the gauge is super small, it's 30 stitches by 56 rows because of all the slip stitches. The row gauge is very, very tight, and it's gonna take ages. So if you're a beginner, I don't recommend this one for sure. But if you have already done a few sweaters, you can definitely tackle this one. Everything is written out for you. I hold your hand without giving too much information, I hope. So yeah, you should be good to go. Anyway, the pattern includes a long sleeve and short sleeve version, as I mentioned. It also includes optional back neck shaping here. Maybe I can show you. So you can see the stripes here. The stripes that are going straight. And then on this side, on the back side, there are more stripes, because there is some shaping that raises the back neck. And there are a few options with that. I did that because in my case, my back is wider than my front. Basically, if you look at me from the side, my shoulder is tilted toward the front. I mean, I can maybe show you. My shoulder is here, and it's supposed to be up here. Basically, everything is towards the front, so I need more room in the back. So what those short rows do, they do two things. First, they raise the back neck, and they widen the back, because as you can see here, you add stitches here. And so you increase more stitches on the body, so the back is wider. But if you only want to raise the back neck, you can cast on less stitches here, and then you're gonna increase here, and you're gonna reach the normal stitch count, you should have if you didn't do the back neck modification. So you can play around, everything is explained, don't worry. If you want to raise the back neck and also widen the back, if you want to just raise the back neck, or if you want to do nothing at all, everything is there for you. But also if you want to knit this garment for a male body or body that has male proportions, you're gonna have to do this modification where you do the back wider. But again, everything is in the pattern. The second thing you can do is add bust darts if you are busty, unlike me. So if you have big melons, you're gonna need extra fabric here, because basically the extra tissue here of your breast is gonna pull up the fabric like this, and you're gonna have your belly that's showing underneath here. So what you can do in the pattern is to add horizontal bust darts, which basically will add fabric at the bottom here. Usually when you do bust darts, you do them at the chest, right in front of the bust you're trying to cover. But in this case, with the slip stitch pattern, you can't maintain it in a nice way while doing short rows. It's just not possible. So I decided to put them at the bottom. It does exactly the same, except they are placed somewhere else. But the result is the same. You're adding fabric to the front without adding fabric to the back. So there are instructions in the pattern on how to work the bust darts here, and they are tailored to your needs, but you don't need to do math, or just minor math. It's not too much. But basically you try on your work in progress, and since you're already at the bottom here, you just place markers where you want, and then you measure in your fabric how many length you need to add, and then you just work this amount of rows using the short row technique I'm explaining, and then you're good to go. So it's pretty easy, and everything is explained. So if you need this kind of bust darts modification, everything is in the pattern. And the last thing I already mentioned is that you have optional body shaping. So if you want to have a A-line shaping, if your hips are very wide compared to your bust, or if you want to have it super cropped and have it close fitting, then you can do decreases or increases. Everything is in the pattern. Okay, that's for the shaping. For the sizing, it comes in 9 sizes. It's fully size inclusive, so it fits a chest. So the chest is measured at the upper bust. So the upper bust is right below your armpits, up here, and the full bust is at the apex of your bust, the full bust. So the full bust would be here for me, but the upper bust is here, and my upper bust is bigger than my bust. Basically, I'm very flat. And it's more important to use the upper bust, so the chest measurement, than the full bust, because the upper bust gives a better approximation of the shoulder size. And as you can tell, in this design, it's very important to have a good fit around the shoulders, because everything is happening around the shoulders. So that's why I'm using the chest measurement. So it fits a chest measurement, or upper bust, from 72.5 centimeters to 155.5 centimeters, or 29 inches to 62.25 inches. Now, it looks like it's not going very far in the upper end, stopping at 155 and 62 inches. I mean, it's size inclusive, but I could have gone further. However, it's the upper bust. So if you look at the size chart and you look for the corresponding measurement of the full bust compared to the upper bust of 155 centimeters, that's 175 centimeters. So in reality, this fits a full bust up to 175, which is 70 inches. So that's a lot. And of course, I couldn't find testers for the 2 biggest sizes. So if you're interested, and I want to stress this, I would like to find testers that have this actual measurement, because if you just size up, like if you're way smaller than that and you just size up, I'm not gonna be able to see if it's gonna fit someone that has those actual measurements. So if you have an upper bust chest of those, you can contact me if you want to test this, and it's gonna be written on the Ravelry page anyway. But yeah, the sizes 8 and 9 haven't been tested. Now, I would like to talk about the difference between fitting upper bust and full bust, because the difference between upper bust and full bust changes along the size range. So for the smaller sizes, like mine, the upper bust is bigger, because basically my shoulder frame is wider than what my boobs are saying. So this is, for me it's 85 centimeters, and my full bust is 80, so it's 5 centimeters smaller, that's 2 inches. So if I choose a size based on my full bust, it's gonna be too small for my shoulders, because they are just wider, that's how it is. And on the other hand, if I had super big boobs, for example, if my upper bust was still 85 centimeters, but my full bust was, I don't know, 110 centimeters, and I selected a size based on my full bust, like 110 centimeters would give me, I don't know, maybe size 4 or 5, I have no idea. Then I would have size 4 and 5 for the shoulders, and it would be just way too big. This is size 2, with the modification on the back, but it's size 2 and it's fitting me perfectly, because I selected the size based on the upper bust. If I had chosen based on the full bust, I would have selected size 1, too small. And if I had super big boobs and I had chosen based on the full bust, 110 centimeters, too big on the shoulders. Now, I can show you this. It was absolutely not planned, but when we did the photo shoot for the project, for the pattern, I bought 2 melons because it was fun. It's the melon sweater and I wanted to have melons. I just found it funny, okay? So we did the photo shoot with the melons, and all 3 of us, so Anna, the other model, me and the photographer, we are all super flat and like really flat chested. And we had those melons and we were like, wouldn't it be super funny if we put the melons inside the t-shirt? And we just couldn't help ourselves, we had to do it, just to know what it's like to be a big boob lady for a while. So we did that, and I just couldn't stop laughing when I got the pictures back. And of course I had to put the tail of the melon on the front so that it would, I mean, you know what I mean. Anyway, we did those pictures just because it was fun, but when I was looking at them I was like, wait, this is exactly proving my point. I was telling you about how I would select a size if I had 110 centimeters bust, all of that. That's exactly it. So basically, if I had super huge melons, like in the picture, I would still need to make a size 2, because my shoulders are size 2. My upper bust would be size 2. But my full bust, the melons, would be huge. But as you can see, the negative is looks just fine. And this fabric is really stretchy. As I told you, there are slip stitches, and the slip stitches tighten up the fabric, but you still have the ability to pull it out. So this is really stretchy and it's really comfortable to wear. It can really move around with you, it's super comfortable, it doesn't pull or wrinkle or anything when you wear it. It's just a very nice fabric. So if you have a small upper bust, but you have big melons, definitely choose a size using your upper bust, because it's gonna fit you like this and you're gonna have this awesome close fit around the shoulders. It's not tight or anything, because again, the fabric is very stretchy. And they weren't my melons, so I didn't really know if it was tight or not, but it was still feeling nice, and yeah, that's my recommendation. Of course, if you want to size up, you're free to do so. By the way, a few testers did size up, so you can see what it looks like when it's a little bit oversized, but the pattern is graded to be fitted, so if you size up, you're gonna have the neckline that's too wide, because it's graded for a size bigger than yours, so you can size up if you want more room, but just know this is not going to fit the same way. Okay, that was the very impromptu fit crash course regarding the difference between upper bust and bust, but I think it's a very clear visualization of what happens, of what can happen with the same upper bust and a different full bust. So yeah, I hope this was helpful for you if you needed help to understand how all of this works, because I know it's a little bit mysterious sometimes. You don't really understand this whole upper bust, full bust, shoulder frame, cross back, cross front thing. So yeah, I hope this helps. Now, you can use a coupon code to have a discount on the pattern. You can use the code Happy Melon or Happy Melons, I don't remember, one of the two, Happy Melon. And you will have 15% off of the pattern until Saturday, end of day, Central Europe time. So that's in 2 days for now, a little bit over today. So I hope it will give enough time to everybody to enjoy this discount, and I'm just so excited about the release. This has been in the works for so long. I mean, from the day I had the idea the first time and today, it was like a year and a half, something. So yeah, I'm just super excited that it's finally out. So Melon Sweater is available, it's beautiful, it's gorgeous, I'm just so proud. Okay, I think that's it for this one, and let's start with the work in progress. So the main one is, this is the swatch. The main one is another design of mine that's in progress. It's the Humble Beginnings. It's the Nuit Blanche Tee. So Nuit Blanche in French means sleepless night or white night. I think white nights exist because someone commented that there was a music called White Nights, and it's speaking about dreams and stuff like that, so I guess white nights also exist. Anyway, the song was super cute, by the way. So thanks for the recommendation, I loved it. Anyway, this is the Nuit Blanche Tee, and I just finished I have the back panel done and the front panel. I am like 4 rows away from joining the round at the other arm, but it didn't happen. It's a drop shoulder t-shirt design that's gonna have a very iconic detail around the shoulder shoulder seam here. I can show you the drawing, it's gonna be easier to see. And I also have the first swatch here. So this is a tuck stitch detail in a contrasting color, and it's gonna run down along, run around, run down, whatever, the whole sleeve, and it's supposed to fit like a drop shoulder, so something like this. Now, this one, I had to rip back so many times. I cast on the back panel. Oh, maybe I should use the hanger. So I cast on the back panel, and you basically cast on all the stitches, and then you do a ton of short row shaping, because as you can see there is a beautiful curve here on the back neck, because I love back neck shaping and I think it fits so well. So you do short rows here, but you also do short rows at the same time for the shoulder slope, and then when you finish the shoulder slope here, you just knit straight. When I cast on the first time, I did my little gauge swatch. I measured my gauge, my blocked gauge, I did all the calculations. I wanted to have a drop of about 5 centimeters below the shoulder tip. And then I cast on, I started working, I finished my short rows, and I just put it on my back just to see, and it was coming down to here. Now, I know my crossback measurement is massive. The crossback is basically if you take a measuring tape and you touch it behind your shoulder here, the most bony part, the big bone that sticks out here, you measure from this one to the other one, through the back. There are my hair, of course, but without the hair and without the t-shirt underneath. You measure from the bone, the shoulder bone to the shoulder bone, and this is the crossback. And if you do the same on the front, so the bony part here, you measure that, that's the cross front. Usually, in a human body, most of the time, they are the same. It can be a little bit different across the size range, like for the smaller sizes, I think it tends to be the same, but for the bigger sizes, it tends to be wider on the front. But I am quite muscular. I do a lot of climbing, and with climbing, your body is kind of unbalanced, and my back is very, very strong, and my front absolutely not. Because basically I'm used to just hold onto things like this, and I never push myself out of the wall, so this is quite weak and small, while my back is huge. And I thought my crossback was about 5 centimeters wider than my cross front. No, it was like 8 centimeters. And I didn't measure very well, but yeah, it was getting completely out of control, and I know my body changes all the time depending on how much I climb and all of that. But basically when I was just holding the work in progress on top of my shoulders, it was absolutely not dropping. The drop shoulders were just not dropping at all. So I ripped it back. I started over and I just added a ton of stitches on each side. So the back panel is humongous. It's huge. But I knew I didn't want it as much fabric on the front because, again, my cross front is much, much smaller than my cross back. So what I ended up doing is having a huge back. So I'm gonna try it on later, but yeah, now the back, the drop shoulder falls actually down my shoulder. So what I did for the front is I picked up less stitches. I didn't pick up every stitch on the shoulder here. I think I missed like 3. And then I decreased stitches here right at the beginning of the front shoulder here. So I decreased a few more stitches here, and then I cast on less stitches at the front neckline. So basically my front, I think it's like 18 stitches smaller than the back. And I could have done even worse than that, but yeah, I decided to calm down a little bit. And I just hope it's gonna fit fine anyway. But yeah, that's just my own modifications. I'm gonna include like loose indications in the pattern on how to do that, but this is not something you're supposed to do. It's very a me problem. But yeah, anyway, before that I finished my back panel, but I need the edges here straight. And then I realized, since I had added a ton of stitches on the shoulders, if I wanted to have the body with the same amount of positive ease I had envisioned from the beginning, I needed to remove all of those extra stitches somehow, otherwise I would just be potato sack on the body. And if I remove them on the underarms, as a reminder, you have this detail going around, so if I do a ton of decreases at the underarm, it's just gonna show in this detail. So I couldn't do that, but I didn't think beforehand, so I had to rip back the whole body, the whole back panel, to do the decreases gently along the armhole here from the beginning, so that I would have a nice straight line that would be enhanced by the tuck detail later on, but I needed to have a very nice shape here. And I also wanted to have a nice rounded shape at the bottom here, which means to do that you need increases. So I had to increase a lot more stitches on the top here, so that I could have also increases at the bottom here, so that I could have a nice curved shape. Basically I did a satin sleeve, except it's a drop shoulder. So all the sizes are gonna have this weird shaping going on, but I think it gives a very nice shape overall. So on this side you can see pretty well. So you have decreases here. You cannot even see, but there are decreases, and then there are increases again. So you can imagine if you have the tuck detail afterwards, it's gonna be so smooth, so round, so beautiful. So yeah, there are a lot more shaping than you would think with such a basic drop shoulder, but it's because I am enhancing the seams that are supposed to be invisible usually. So yeah, we have a little bit more shaping than you would think, but I think it's for a good reason. And then for the front, as I mentioned, I had to do more decreases here, so I did twice as much decreases on the first part, and then I resumed the same decrease rate at the back here, and then you have a little bit of a straight section, and then I did the same increases, and I am right at the end of the increases here, and then I'm gonna join it around. Can you see this beautiful shape? Oh my god! I'm quite proud. So I haven't tried it on yet, but I'm gonna do it right now. And of course I had to redo the front panel as well, because when I cast on the front neck stitches here, I completely miscalculated, like, no, I'm losing my stitches. Like really, I was, I think, 20 stitches off. I don't know what happened, I just did the math wrong. And I continued and I knit the whole front panel, the whole thing, until the underarm. And then I realized, wait, I'm missing 20 stitches. And it was a little bit late, but I had to rip back the whole thing again. So yeah, that took a little bit more time. So if I hadn't had to rip back so often, I would probably already be done with the body, but life happens and I just need to pay a little bit more attention. Alright, it's on the tubing, so now let me take this off the hanger and I will try it on me. So the neckline is pretty wide because this is a summer design and I wanted it to be quite like modern and timeless, and I think modern garments have boat necks. It's just in my head it's like that, so I wanted a boat neck, but I wanted a boat neck that wouldn't choke you, so that's why there is this beautiful back neck shaping with the short rows on the back, and also a very gentle shaping here along the front. Is it the front? Yes, it's the front. So of course the neckline is going to pull everything in, but yeah, I designed it to be wide, so it's normal that it's wider than this one, but it's gonna be less wide than that. Now let's see the shoulders, how far they drop. Of course it's swollen like crazy, but ooh, it's perfect. It's exactly what I wanted. So imagine the tuck stitch detail. I lost the swatch already. Whatever. Imagine the tuck stitch detail when you go along here, along this very nice curve. And then same on the back, this gorgeous curve. And I also wanted to have this shaping because one thing I really hate with drop shoulders is when you have this weird bump of fabric here at the underarms because there's too much fabric basically. So doing the shaping like this allows to avoid this weird bump, and I'm really happy about this. So when the arm is down, look at that, it looks like a satin sleeve! Yeah, so this is going on perfect for now. So I'm gonna join at the underarm here. It's gonna shrink when I block it. My swatch shrunk quite a bit. It was probably this long before blocking, but it shrunk like that. So I purposefully made the underarms, I mean, a bit too long, and it's gonna be probably like this, which is perfect. So that's the Nuit Blanche. And what am I forgetting about this one? The yarn. The yarn I'm using is Holst Coast in the colorway. This is Petrol and this is Cantalou. And they're gonna be beautiful. It's like so summery, I think, those colors. Like, I already said that, but water and sunshine, I think it's perfect. So the detail is gonna be in this color, and I'm super excited to get to here. I wanted to tell you about where the idea came from. It's very random. I was at a restaurant with my parents, and there was a table with a lot of people next to us, and there was a guy wearing a sweater. It was not a handed sweater or anything, it was just a store-bought sweater. And I think, I don't remember very well, but I think it had some motif like stripes or stuff going on the body, and then the same motif or stuff going on the sleeve, but there was a separation between the two. There was a plain like line of the main color of the sweater going around the shoulder here and just framing the seam basically, and I was like, wow, that's so cool. And I decided to try and make it with the added texture on top, like not just doing a different color but doing an actual different shape, which is why I had the idea of the tuck stitch. Where is my swatch? Ah. That's where I had the idea of the bump. So it's gonna be shaped with a lot of shaping. So basically you're gonna do increases and then short rows and then decreases so that you have a nice rounded shape, and so that it's thinner at the underarms because you don't want the bulk of this thing at the underarms. So short rows and shaping so that you have a perfect fit. I love this idea. And the design is gonna come, of course, in DK weight and fingering weight. This swatch is DK weight. I love it, but I don't like DK weight garments, especially in the summer. And this is Holst held double, and this is Holst held single. And wow, the fabric is like, I mean, I think you can see, it's absolutely gorgeous. It's like incredible. It's gonna be so perfect for summer. I'm gonna do the fingering version, but the pattern is also gonna have a DK weight version, which is this one. I think the gauge, my gauge here is like 28 stitches, I think, and then this one is 22. So yeah, this is coming. And I was hoping to send it to Tech Edits Monday, so next Monday, or this weekend. However, with all the admin I had to do and the pattern corrections and all of that for the Melon Sweater release tomorrow, I mean today, I had a lot less time than I expected, and also because I had to rip back so many times. So I don't know when I'm gonna be able to send it to Tech Edits, but hopefully in the upcoming 2 weeks you're gonna see a test code for this on Instagram. I'm probably gonna talk about it on YouTube as well, but yeah, test code coming in a few weeks. This is a very bad way to advertise for a test code, but yeah, you get the idea. It's gonna be awesome. Alright, let's talk about my second work in progress, which is quite weird. I talked about it in my spring knitting plans, and I've been wanting to make it for a while, but I could never find the time. But I really need it. It's like, I need it. It's not a garment, it's not gonna go on me, but it's something I'm gonna use every day. if you can guess what this is, either you follow me for a long time or you're really strong. This is a lampshade. Now, let me explain. Let me show you. This is gonna go inside this, like that, and then the knitting is going to stretch around the whole frame. There you go. And then I'm gonna have the same metallic frame on the bottom, and it's gonna be a lampshade that I'm gonna have at the ceiling, on the ceiling at my home. Because for now I still have just the light bulbs dangling from the ceiling. It's been a year and a half at this point. But it's just, I'm the type of girl, as long as something is usable, I mean enough to do the job it's supposed to do, like giving me light, it's very low in the priority list for me. So the lampshades were really not something I was caring about, but it's ugly. It's very sad that I have just the light bulbs, so I decided to finally bite the bullet and do cast on. So you can see there is this very cute lace happening, and I'm almost done. I just have one more, I just have this much, this stockinette section to do again on the bottom, and I have this much left of the ball of mohair, which should be perfect, so I think I'm just gonna stop when I run out of yarn, and then I'm gonna have a beautiful lampshade. It looks a bit weird for now. I should maybe put it on the tubing. Maybe it would be, oh no, it's still on the other one. So I'm not gonna put it on the tubing, but yeah, you get the idea, I think. The inspiration came from another maker on Instagram. She's absolutely not a knitter, I think she's a potter, ceramicist, and she did a reel where she has those very cute, very small, very beautiful lamps that has the knitted lampshades in mohair, and it's just so cute. And I wanted to do this for my home, but much bigger, because I don't need a table lamp. But this person was only making those very cute small lamps and only selling the whole lamp and not just the lampshade. I mean, if I had asked her, she probably would have sold me just the lampshade, but also I know how to knit, and I wanted something big and not something teeny tiny like that. So I decided to just make my own. So I went to IKEA and I bought this. I also have smaller ones here. Because I need 4 lamps, but I don't need 4 lamps that are this huge. So I have 2 small like this and 2 big like this. And I had this random skein of mohair that I bought years ago, before I really accepted the fact that mohair is itchy for me and is just a bad idea in general. And it's been sitting around in my stash since probably 3 years, I think. It's a Woolen Twine Fabric Studio Cloud Silk mohair, so it's an absolutely gorgeous skein. And it's cruelty-free, and Yule had them custom made for her, so it's just a unique blend, and she naturally dyes them. So it was really a precious skein, but mohair is itchy for me, so I was never gonna make anything for myself with it. But it was a shame, because this beautiful skein was just sitting there for nothing. So I decided to make a lampshade. And my apartment is pretty dark, so I don't think it's gonna fade in the sunlight too quickly, I hope. I don't know, maybe it's gonna turn yellow. Oops. But yeah, for now, that's the idea. Yeah, I think you can see the vision if you can imagine this one the same size under, and yeah. Basically for the sizing, I just knit a very small swatch. I didn't even block it, and then I stretched it pretty hard, and then I measured my gauge when stretched, and then I cast on the amount of stitches I needed to go around the small circle. And that was 160 stitches. I'm using 5mm needles, I think. Yes, 5 US 8. I cast on 160 stitches, and then I started knitting in stockinette, and then I got bored and I was like, I'm gonna add lace. So I went to my library of my shelf of knitting books, and I have this guy, the Japanese Knitting Stitch Bible by Hitomi Shida, and this is the one everyone has, and every single stitch pattern you see in this one, you can have a design that's made using it. I think if I just open here, half of those you have already seen in a knitting design in the past years or something. And of course you can recognize a lot of Sari Nordlund's designs in here. Yeah, they're just everywhere. Like this one. I don't know in which design of her it is, but it's like first page of the book. Anyway, I just wanted to use my own because I like lace, I like knitting lace, but I don't like wearing lace. So I was like, this is the perfect opportunity, I'm gonna knit lace and it's not gonna be for my body and I'm gonna be super happy. So I just found a few that I liked and then I went to sleep. And on the next day, I went again through the ones I had selected and then I chose one. And by perfect coincidence, it was a 16th stitch repeat, and I told you I cast on 160 stitches, so I had exactly 10 repeats of the stitch pattern. It was absolutely not, how do you say that, predetermined, whatever. I just cast on and it happened to be the correct stitch count. And my plan was to use the whole 50-gram skein, and I had to rip back like 3 times because I kept stopping the thing and then I was like, wait, I have way too many yarn left. And then I read back, I started another part of lace and then I was like, wait, I don't have enough yarn left, so I have to read back and start over again. Not to the beginning, but just to about halfway through. So now I think I'm in the perfect combo. So I did 2 lace repeats at the bottom, I mean at the top here, 1, 2, and then I did a stockinette break, and then I did 1 repeat, and then I'm gonna do the stockinette purl ridge again, and then finish, and then should be done. So you can probably tell this is the small one. So I did the calculations to fit this one, but mohair is so stretchy, even more with the big needles, that I can just fit it around the big one, which is good because that way I used less material for the big guy. Now, I only have 1 skein of mohair in my stash because I don't like mohair. And I won't have enough to do more, obviously, because this is gonna be done. So I wasn't sure what to do. I went on Yarns from Italy website, the website where you can buy a ton of cones for very cheap. And I wanted to see if I could try to find a mohair that would match this color, kind of, and just match my apartment, kind of. Not that I really have a color scheme going on, but I could try. But then I realized, wait, I could try, so this is held double by the way. I could try to use my Nuit stash and use unspun yarn held single on a very big needle. That could work and probably give the same effect, right? I didn't buy the yarn from Yarns from Italy, even though I found beautiful mohairs, and I'm gonna try to do the next one using Nuit held single. And I think I have a color that's very close to this one, so that's great. And we will see how it goes. The suspense is real. I'm not even sure this one works because I haven't tried to like hang the second frame on it. Maybe it's gonna distort in a weird way. I have no idea. I have no idea what's gonna happen, but yeah, that's my very chaotic plan of lampshade. That's all for the knitting. Now let me talk to you about spinning! Oh, they are so cute! So this is my spurt. Oh my god, it smells so good. This is my spurt, my first handspun fibers, and it's a 100% Corriedale blend. So this one I think is undyed, I'm not even sure. Corriedale that I bought at Sidispinnt booth, I don't have the tag, at the Swiss Yarn Festival, and this one is Yarnadelic by John Arbon that I bought at the same time at the same booth, but it's not from the same maker, even though I bought them at the same place. And the colorway is Woman in Blue. It's a gorgeous light blue with streaks of grey. This exact grey, by the way, and it's gorgeous. I'm just so proud. I mean, look at them. It's my first ever handspun, so I did this one first, and then I did this one, and I mean, it's my first handspun. I'm so proud of myself. So if you want more details on them, you can go and watch the video. I kind of vlog style. I put out less. I can't talk. It's the end of the video. I put out last week where I filmed the whole process. I had no idea where it was gonna go because I had no idea how much time it's taking to spin something and then to ply the thing. I had no idea, but I finished them. So those are washed. And I think this one before washing was 100 oh no, I didn't write it down. Oh yes, I did. 150 meters before washing, and the blue one was 167 meters, so 15 more meters for the blue. And I think I lost a little bit, of course, so I guess I have like 300 meters total, maybe a little bit less. So my plan was to I wanted to do a hood because I don't have any hood, and I explained already why I didn't want to do anything else, but yeah, I was set on a hood. And I asked for recommendations, of course, and I got a gorgeous recommendation of the Lena hooded KAL by Iron Lynn. Gorgeous, it looks awesome. And I wanted specifically to do brioche because I wanted to use the two colors together, and I love brioche. But this guy is in half fisherman's rib, which is basically half brioche, which is awesome as well. But there are a few issues with the pattern. First, the gauge is not correct because the pattern is in bulky, and I think I have worsted Aran, I think. So the gauge is already not correct, but it would be probably super easy to modify. But the second issue is that I don't really like the garter edge detail on around the face. I just don't like it. I would prefer if it was like an I-cord or even a cable or something, but yeah, I just don't like the garter. Now, I could modify it pretty easily. But I also don't like the construction because it's just two halves of exactly the same shape that are sewn together. I mean, you probably don't work the two halves separately and then seam them, but what I mean is it's just a flat thing and then you open it up. But there is no shaping to make it into a 3D shape to begin with, which I don't really like, because what I want to do with this hood is to be able to put it over my hair when it's up, and as you can tell I have a lot of hair. And I also want to be able to put it over my headphones, and you have the thing of the headphone that's going around the head here, which is huge, so I need a very big hood to go over that. And if the hood is just two flat pieces of fabric sewn together, it's just not gonna fit. Even if I make it huge, I want something that has an actual 3D shape. So that's problem number 3. Now, I could also modify the pattern to have a different shape, but the last issue is that this designer is not size inclusive at all. I looked through the last 10 designs, I think, she put out. Not a single one is size inclusive. She has between 4 and 8 sizes, which is just not enough, and she has a ton of positives built in the patterns. So if you remove the positives from the finished bust measurements of the designs, it fits nowhere near enough of a bust. Like, it's really not enough at all. So yeah, I love her designs. She does a beautiful job, but nothing is size inclusive, so I'm not gonna need them. I changed the battery and I forgot to press record. So I was talking to myself for 15 minutes and I didn't notice. No. I'm not sure I remember where I was. I think I was talking about the hood. Iron Lynn is not size inclusive at all. So if you remove the positives from the finished bust of the garment, it doesn't go as far as it should in the size range. So of course, a lot of people in the bigger sizes don't want as much positives, so if you want less positives, you could need the bigger size and be at the edge of the size range, and it would fit you, but it's not designed like that. So yeah, I just don't particularly want to support a designer that's not size inclusive if I don't have to, and in this case I don't have to because the hood is not the right gauge, it's not the right finishing, and it's not the right construction. So I'm just gonna make my own thing and it's gonna be fine because it's gonna have like no common point at all with the Lena hooded KAL, except that it's the one that sparked the idea in the beginning. So yeah, anyway. I'm just gonna do my own thing, and I'm fine with the fact that the idea was sparked by a pattern that I'm not gonna buy because I don't want to support this designer. Her work is beautiful. I mean, all her designs are absolutely gorgeous and they are works of art. but not size inclusive, so too bad. But if I want to make this hood, I need more yarn than this, because I only have like 300 meters and that's not enough. And I have two options. Either I buy more fiber and I spin more to have enough yarn, or I just use a different yarn and I spin more fiber of a different yarn to do this project. I decided to do the second solution because I have another idea for this. And this is not really very, I mean, they are two, not solid, but they are two colors. They are not variegated or speckled or anything. This one has a little bit of grey streaks going on, but not much. And I have knit the Inclination KAL by Andrea Mowry, and I have used two solid colors as well, and I just think using yarns that have the barber pole effect is just so much more beautiful in this half fisherman's rib stitch pattern in particular. I just really love the way it looks. So I think if I want to do the half fisherman's rib hood, I would like to spin fibers that have the barber pole effect and slight color changing stuff. I just want to have fun with different types of fibers. So I think that's going to be more suitable for the hood, which means I'm not going to do a hood with those. So what do? Now, when I put out the video, I don't remember if I said that during the time where it wasn't recording or if I said that before it stopped recording. In the video I put out last week when I did my first spinning adventure, I asked for tips and tricks and just general help regarding spinning because I'm so new at this. This is my first time doing it and I loved it. I absolutely loved it and I would like to make more, but I don't know what I'm doing. So I got a ton of suggestions in the comments, so thank you so much. It just helped me out so much. And especially one person, she went completely wild and she basically did a crash course in spinning for me, and she basically answered all the questions I could ever have in my life, I think. And one of the questions was, I mean, I didn't ask anything, but she just gave me the answer without me even having to ask, was the durability and the toughness of handspun yarn. She told me that basically handspun are usually denser than industrial yarns, which means they are also sturdier. And one of my loose ideas was to maybe do mittens, but I was scared to do them because I thought it would be a little bit too fragile for something that would be around my hands that would touch stuff with. But since this is sturdier than usual yarn, even if it's not super tightly spun everywhere, I think it's going to be enough for mittens. I hope. So I think I'm gonna do that. I will do color work with mittens using those two. I have enough with 300 meters, I think. So that's great, and I'm super excited. I think I would like to do one of those Scandinavian theme mittens thing. Most of them are in fingering weight or DK, so that's not gonna work, but worst case scenario I can just modify a pattern, and if the designer is size inclusive I'm gonna buy the pattern to modify it beforehand. I think Skin Deer has a ton of designs I would really like to try, but I don't know if she has worsted weight. I will see, whatever. And with my fiber stash, I don't want things to become the same way they are with my yarn stash, which means out of control. I mean, my yarn stash is under control, but I just have too much yarn for my taste, and it stresses me out to have yarn that I cannot use right away, and it's just sitting around without plans. I hate that. So what I would like to do for my fiber stash is to acquire the fiber, spin the fiber, have a plan, and work up the project with the fiber. And then I can buy more fiber. I just don't want to have fiber just sitting around waiting for me to spin it up. Don't want that. So I would like to knit the mittens before I buy more fibers, or at least start them so that I'm sure I'm gonna finish them. I don't usually let works in progress sit around for too long. So that's the plan. Now for the hood, I wanted to see if I could find the perfect fiber for that so that I'm ready to buy it when the time comes. And I did ask for recommendation on Instagram, and wow, you delivered. I got so many incredible recommendations. I asked for Europe only. I mean Europe, geographic Europe, so UK is okay for me because technically Switzerland is not in Europe, you know. Yeah, so geographical Europe, because I know there are enough yarn and fiber dyers around me for me to not need to order overseas if I don't have to. So European yarn dye fiber dyers, and I got so many suggestions and I have so many ideas and I want to buy all the fibers, but I won't because I have self-control. So yeah, I'm plotting this for the next project, which is the hood, and in the meantime I'm gonna find a nice mitten project for those two guys. And I'm just super excited. They are so soft and beautiful. So that's all for me today regarding knitting and yarn. I don't have any acquisitions. I do have acquisitions, but I'm not gonna show them because I've been thinking about the utility of showing my acquisitions if I'm not about to cast on. I'm just like, why would I? Because the acquisitions I got, I'm gonna cast them on in 2 weeks, which is next postcast. So what's the point of showing you the yarn if I cannot tell you even what it's gonna be? I mean, I could, but I don't want to announce it too early because it's a design and I'm so excited about it. So yeah, I'm gonna show you the acquisition in the next episode, and I recommend you come for that because it's gonna be awesome. Alright, the last thing I wanted to talk to you about is the Skeeter Skirt knit-along that's going on. I was contacted by a viewer of mine, a follower. I don't really know how to say your name, I'm sorry. Rookie? She's a lovely person. She just asked me if I knew of some people that were going to knit the skirt, the Skeeter Skirt. By the way, it's my first pattern that I released last year in October. It's a skirt. And it's a lot of stockinette, so she just wanted to know if there were other people that were going to knit it this summer so that they could knit it along together. And I was like, I don't know, but we could definitely make a knit-along. So I decided to announce a knit-along, I think it was 1 month ago, maybe 3 weeks ago, I don't know. Because anyway, I wanted to release the French version of the pattern because I have translated it last year. But for some reason I was feeling self-conscious. I don't know why, I just didn't have the courage to publish the French version. I have never knit from a French pattern. So maybe it's that, I don't know. I speak French very well, it's my mother tongue, but I don't know. And the French pattern has been tested by the lovely person behind one of my local yarn stores. So it has been tested by someone who is used to knitting French pattern, but yeah, whatever, I just didn't put it out. But I decided to finally do it now, and also because the bigger sizes have been tested in the meantime. So I did an update to the pattern to release the French version and the bigger sizes in the design. So it now goes up to 170 centimeters waist, I think. Yeah, something like that. It's big. It goes very wide. So yeah, I launched the knit-along, and basically all you have to do is use the hashtag Skeeter Skirt KAL in a post in your Instagram feed, and you need to have a public Instagram account, otherwise I cannot see your entry. And at the end of the knit-along, which will be the 4th of October, which will mark the 1-year anniversary of the skirt pattern, but also of my whole designing career, because that was my first pattern. So to celebrate that, it's gonna be the end of the knit-along, and I'm gonna draw a few winners among the person that have used, the people who will have used the hashtag, to gift coupon codes for free patterns in my library. And maybe something else. We will see in the meantime if I find another idea or if someone wants to gift something. I'm open to ideas. And whips are allowed, so if you have a skirt that has been dormant in your pile of works in progress and you want to finish it this summer along with everyone, you can totally do that. I don't need to cast on, especially for the knit-along. And if you want to join the group chat, you need to send a DM to Rookie, Knits by Ekaete. I don't know how to say that either. She is the one managing the group chat. I am not there because I'm not really a group chat person, but if you would like the community vibes, you can definitely contact her and she will add you. And that's it. I hope you will have a lot of fun. Oh, one thing. Someone sent me a picture of their Skeeter skirts that they just cast on, and they are doing it in brioche. A brioche skirt, can you believe that? It's such a good idea. The way the increases are laid out in the pattern is just so perfect for brioche. It's just such a good idea. So I have no idea if she's taking part in knit-along, but yeah, anyway, I just received that yesterday and I was super happy and I wanted to share it. So that's it. That's it this time. I think I haven't forgotten anything again. Oh, I forgot a second time. I wanted to show you my spinning wheel. So it's a dreaming robot. It's not the nano one, it's the normal sized. And this is my first handspun. This is carded fibers, so it's a lot less smooth than the ones I showed you in the skeins, but I'm still very proud of it. It was a sample I got in the Nuit order. And my wheel is in there. I'm not gonna take it out because it's gonna be a nightmare to put in again, but you can see how well it fits into this tiny little box. It's very satisfying. So yeah, that's my wheel. I love it. I'm super happy about it. I received it for my 30th birthday and I am very excited to use it a lot more. So lots of spinning content coming from me, I hope. And I also hope to be able to vlog it often, if you're interested. There doesn't seem to be a ton of interest for that, but I don't care. I'm just gonna do the content I want to do. So yes, that's all for me today. Thank you so much for being here. Don't forget to subscribe if you don't want to miss out on any future content I may put out. And also follow me on Instagram if you want to have more day-to-day updates on what I'm up to. And thank you so much for your comments, for your likes and everything. I get so much inspiration from the comments. Just thank you so much for all the tips, the suggestions, the inspiration, all of that. Keep them coming. Thank you. And yes, I love you. Thank you for being here. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope to see you again in the next one.